Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hi.
Hello, welcome to a special interview for The Wire. How should we understand the turmoil in Pakistan? And does Imran Khan represent the single biggest challenge the Pakistani state has faced since the country was created 75 years ago? Those are two of the issues I shall raise today with someone who is widely considered one of Pakistan's best political commentators, a senior research fellow at the Department of War Studies at King's College in London, and the author of Military Inc., Ayesha Siddiqa. Dr. Siddiqa, in a recent article that you wrote for The Print, you very pertinently analyzed the situation developing in Pakistan. Let's start with what you say of Imran Khan. You say he's taken on the state in a way even Zulfikar Ali Bhutto did not dare to do in the 70s. You add, Imran Khan seems prepared to use violence and even collect some dead bodies on the way. He sounds not only a very determined person, but also someone capable of desperate measures.
Well, that's right. I mean, look at it. When Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was summoned by the court, every time he was summoned by the court, he went. This one is saying that no, I'm not going to go to the court. 4 times he has submitted an affidavit giving one excuse or the other, being represented through his lawyers, but he refuses to present himself in the court. Let's see if he does it, in the future. The Islamabad High Court has in fact stood by the Session Court judge's decision to summon Mr. Khan to the court. So that's one. I think there is a case of not having faith in the current system, in the political government, and also in the army chief. And he seems to be challenging both the prime minister and his army chief.
In fact, as you correctly point out, it's not just the Shehbaz Sharif government and the army that Imran Khan is defying and challenging. He's actually thrown a pretty blatant challenge at the Pakistani judiciary. And the worst part is that the courts in Pakistan seem to be unable to do anything about it. As you write in that article of yours, any ordinary citizen refusing to appear before the court would be severely pulled up for contempt of court. But as you point out, Imran has at least on 4 occasions deliberately skipped hearings, and the courts have done absolutely nothing. So he's not just defiant, but he's getting away with his defiance.
It's because the courts are divided, the army is divided, the institutions are divided in the middle on what to do with Imran Khan. I mean, if you look at in the past few months, the higher judiciary has actually been very soft on Imran Khan. They have not kind of put him through the same pressure as as they would do others. So, and he's making use of that. Secondly, I think what's important is that he has this disbelief of the army chief, the law enforcement, and the security agencies. He believes, I mean, that's his point of view, that his life is under threat, that if he goes to the court or if he's taken by the police, arrested by the police, because right now the issue is that the courts have said arrest him. They've ordered the police. The session court has said arrest the chap and bring him to the court because he's not showing up. I mean, there's 4 times. The legal position is 4 times that he has not gone to the court. So the courts have said arrest him, bring him. But that's what he's saying, that there is threat to his life, that he'll either be tortured or killed, and therefore either he goes himself or he doesn't go. That's his position.
And he hasn't gone. And the consequence is that for 2 days running, just a couple of days ago, we literally saw a battlefield outside the Zaman Park residence of Imran Khan. In fact, an article in today's news in your country is actually headlined Battleground Zaman Park. This sort of defiance of the state, of the judiciary, of the police, of the government, and at the end of the day, the army, is extremely unusual in Pakistan. This has never been seen before.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, that Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, ultimately, I mean, when Ziaul Haq came out to arrest him, he did get, he did get arrested, and he went to jail. He was tried, and in a very unlawful judgment, he was sentenced to death. So and much later, I mean, look at Yusuf Raza Gilani. Yusuf Raza Gilani has been to jail. Who else? I mean, look at Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. Shahid Khaqan Abbasi has been in prison. Nawaz Sharif has been in prison. Now, interestingly, it seems that both Nawaz Sharif and Imran Khan, in their different ways and for different reasons, are a bit suspicious of either being arrested and being in jail. There is something, there is a lack of trust in what could happen in a Pakistani prison.
Absolutely. But as you point out in your article, side by side with this unprecedented defiance is also the fact you've been told by close family members of the Imran Khan family that his Zimran Park residence is now guarded by Gilgit and Baltistan police commandos as well as tribal militia. Today, we know that his supporters have surrounded his house with shipping containers. So, in addition to his defiance, he also seems to have surrounded himself with personal security who owe their loyalty directly to him. That's another very unusual thing.
That's very unusual. And Gilgit Baltistan, apparently, they were sent back. But now we have definitely their tribal militias there. In fact, one of the piece of news is that one of the TTP members who was freed as part of agreement between the state of Pakistan and the TTP when Imran Khan was in government, one of the men had later on joined PTI, and he's one of those people who is seen around Zaman Park guarding. But I think more than that, it's his supporters who are enthused, it's not more than 200 to 300 people. I mean, let me make it very clear. It's not more than 200 to 300 people, but these are dedicated people who want to fight till the end and who believe in their leader and also believe what he says, that his life is under threat, and therefore and it's important to protect him, because protecting him means protecting Pakistan's politics in Pakistan.
Absolutely. Now, I think this is your conclusion about Imran Khan. I'm quoting from that print article of yours. This is an elected member of parliament shaking up everything, from law and order to the judiciary, government, and military, posing as bigger than all and demonstrating an unimaginable impudence. Would I be right, as I suggested and asked in my introduction, that Imran Khan is threatening the Pakistani system, the government, the judiciary, the army, all three, in a way in which the system has never been threatened and challenged before?
That's correct. I mean, that's correct. I mean, nobody has stood like this and fought and said, no, I'm not going to give in to to any kind of system, be it judicial or political. He considers himself above all these systems. So that is one. I mean, one can argue with that, but this is what his position is. Nobody has ever done that. And more important, I think it is, he pointedly now, points a finger at the army chief. I mean, when one of his last speech statements to his supporters, he said, "The man, the one big man who's taking decisions." I mean, it's definitely not a reference to the prime minister, but to the army chief. So he's shaking up the army as well. We know that the army is especially, the junior and the middle ranks support Imran Khan. There is a lot of sympathy amongst army families, military families in general, for Imran Khan, and he's trying to make use of it, and he's trying to turn these families, these men, against their own chief. This is what he's trying to do.
I'll come to the army in a moment's time, but let me first take up the question of the impact the Imran Khan defiance is having on the civilian government, because at least prima facie, that is the government of the day, even if it's only in power because of the army's support behind it. Now, you write in your article that Shehbaz seems unable to prove effective in his endeavor to put the ex-PM behind bars. And you add, Shehbaz and his interior minister Rana Sannaullah simply cannot unleash enough terror to discipline Imran Khan. Does this mean that effectively, in what is clearly a bitter battle going on between the two, Shehbaz Sharif and his government have effectively lost to Imran Khan already? Or is that a premature conclusion?
Well, right now they're trying to fight, but you see, beyond a point, they can't use force. I mean, here are 200 to 300 people. Let's say that's not 500 or 1,000 people, but 200 to 300 people. But these are dedicated people who are there to protect him. Now, if there is a shootout, and apparently petrol bombs have been used, and I'm not imagining it. This has been said by his own party member, Dr. Yasmin Rashid. So, with that kind of willingness to do violence, if police also kind of reacts and police comes and pushes back, and there is a shootout, there's going to be more bloodshed. So what this government doesn't want to do is, because it's a political player, it does not want to have to exact a huge cost for itself. I mean, already with poor economy, with IMF agreement not going anywhere, it is getting unpopular. On top of that, in Lahore, in the heart of Lahore, in the heart of its, its own political base, if it was to use violence, it's going to become politically very expensive for it, and therefore they are, they're getting neutralized, so to speak.
It sounds as if not only is the Shehbaz Sharif government embattled, but it seems to be pushed into a corner where it doesn't quite know what to do. So it's both embattled and increasingly becoming a bit helpless.
That it seems. I mean, it's now to the bigger institutions, like, for example, the judiciary. Now, the thing is that even judiciary, I mean, I wonder how far judiciary can go to negotiate with Imran Khan if he insists on not getting arrested. I mean, the Islamabad High Court says, come and present yourself. But who's going to implement that decision? The police is. And when the police comes, he refuses to go. I think there's a lot of back channel negotiation. There is the president of Pakistan, who's also a party member of PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, needs to play a role. I am told again from people around in his family that his lawyers, credible lawyers, have advised him basically not to take on the judiciary, that to consider to be on the right side of judiciary. So let's see if he goes. But this situation cannot hold on for very long.
In fact, the next deadline set by the judiciary is the 18th of March. That's tomorrow. He is required to, in fact, go and be present and, as was required, surrender in court. He has verbally said that he will do so. Whether he will or not, we don't know, but that is the next deadline. Let's come at this point to what this standoff means for the Pakistan army. You write that the Shehbaz government, and I'm quoting you, would rather let Pakistan Army Chief General Syed Asim Munir take the ultimate responsibility for unleashing all kinds of terror to control Imran. And this is because it was Munir who put the Shehbaz Sharif government at the forefront of this battle. But you add, the country's army chief today is in no enviable position. So, what do you think General Munir will do?
I mean, have you just looked at some of the footage from around Zaman Park? They're not just abusing the Imran Khan supporters, and not just abusing Bajwa. They've also abused Asim Munir. They're calling him names, and they hold him responsible. So Asim Munir, even before he started, there is no goodwill to support him. And this is goodwill from, if you've looked at the survey, 61% of the people who support Imran Khan. So Imran Khan is, if we consider this very equation, that Imran Khan is on the top in terms of his popularity, way ahead than any other leader. That means that here is the support base which looks at Asim Munir very suspiciously. Now, what I meant when I wrote that, Shehbaz Sharif would rather have Asim Munir take any firm decision. If more force has to be used, then Shehbaz Sharif would be looking at his political cost. And if anyone has to do it, then it better be Asim Munir rather than the prime minister. The army chief is definitely caught in a corner where the battle is now how to exhaust Imran Khan. I mean, this is a game of exhaustion, a battle of wits that is being played. It will drag on, for a few more days. Definitely, there are already 80 court cases, 80 FIRs, court cases included against Imran Khan. So the idea is to exhaust him. Will it ever come to, and what he's trying to do is bring his supporters to confront both the government and the army chief.
As this attempt to exhaust Imran Khan plays out, and as you said, it could take several more days, maybe even a week or two, is there a danger that the army's image and standing in Punjab, from where the vast majority of its soldiers are recruited, is suffering? You talked about how outside Zaman Park, people are already abusing the Army Chief General Munir. So is there a danger, of which the army would be very concerned, that its standing, its image is suffering in Punjab, which is the army's main recruiting base?
Definitely is. I mean, its image is getting affected. I was at this Twitter space by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and it was so interesting. The conversation was so interesting. They said, so the police had stopped Yasmin Rashid, one of the top PTI leaders, and they were trying to kind of ask her, convince her to go into the car. So basically, this was understood as they were trying to arrest her. And these men were saying, who were participating in the space, and they were looking at images, and they were like, this is not the police. This is somebody else. These are actually, the military. I mean, without naming military, they were saying na maloom, the unknown, which in Pakistan's parlance these days is the army. So there are now more fingers pointed at the army, which means that its image is really getting affected, and that should be worrying the army chief.
with this in the background, let me pick up on something you mentioned earlier, the fact that the army itself is divided over Imran Khan. It's no great secret that the junior officers and the soldiers support and even admire Imran Khan. Just as strongly is the case that the generals and the high command are opposed to Imran Khan. How worrying is this division?
I would say this is very bad for the future of the army. It's going to weaken it. It's not going to strengthen it. And whatever the political outcome, there is no safe passage out of this crisis. Honestly, I mean, if they kind of shut him down, and what Imran Khan is trying to do, his strategy is very simple: play for the the maximalist game, so that the opponents back off and they agree to holding elections. Now the problem right now is, I mean, his understanding is, you hold elections tomorrow or today, and I will win. I mean, Imran Khan will win. That is his calculation. The present government does not want that, and the army is caught somewhere in the fray. Now, whatever the consequences, and there's an additional problem: if anyone tries to manipulate elections, uh, which is also a possibility, then he will not, his supporters are not going to accept those election results. So either the elections are free and fair, or they're not going to accept it. In both cases, there's going to be more anarchy, more chaos, and a lack of faith in, definitely, in the army, which so far in all these decades has remained a credible institution, at least that way politically. I mean, of course, I mean, uh, this is not an easy statement to make. I mean, uh, people out people out there have had, in one form or the other, faith in the army. But if they're going to lose faith because of this election, and that they might, then that's not good news.
There are two things you said there that underline and corroborate what we've agreed on already, that Imran Khan is posing the most serious threat Pakistan has faced in 75 years. And those two things are: one, faith in the army is being questioned. And secondly, Imran is dividing the army internally. None of that really happened with Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, if I recall correctly. And the other big problem is that you're also suggesting serious question marks could be held over an election if there's any attempt to rig it or twist it so that the army gets the desired result. Again, that really didn't happen under Bhutto, except Bhutto did it for himself in his favor in 77. So these are two senses in which Imran is posing a threat that really for Pakistan is unique and unprecedented, particularly this lack of faith in the army and the internal division in the army over Imran Khan.
The craziness of all of this is that Imran Khan's own party election machinery is not one of the healthiest. There is this assumption that everyone will come out and vote for him. At least it's his party's assumption. Now, let's suppose, if even elections are close to being completely free and fair. We have not had, by the way, free and fair elections ever, but anything which comes close to free and fair, and he doesn't make the kind of gains that he expects, a two-third majority. Now, is he going to then fight back? We don't know. I mean, he hasn't given a game plan, number one. Number two, he is not checked back with his own party machinery. I mean, right now, the fact of the matter is that the two parties who have well oiled election machinery and who know how to run the election system of election is either the PMLN in Punjab and PPP in Sindh.
Okay.
Now, does he come any close to that? Also, because elections have not been really announced. Yes, it's Punjab and KP, but when we go to general elections, I mean, he hasn't even attended to Sindh. He's only focused right now on Punjab, and there he isn't. So there is a lot of burden. Number one. Number two, I think it's important to understand that if he gets arrested and if he's put behind bars, there is nobody who will be able to run the campaign as well as he does. So there are a lot of pressures on Imran Khan, and I think that largely there is a loss of Pakistan here,
Okay.
because if he's a loser and he and it generates a disenchantment in the hearts of the youth, the women, and people in Pakistan, then it's bad news.
But you also have a very interesting comment to make about how you see Imran Khan's own future. As you mentioned, Gallup Pakistan has done a poll which, on the one hand, shows that 61% is his approval rating, way above the approval rating for the people who come second, which are Nawaz Sharif and Bilawal Bhutto at just 36%. But in contrast to that incredible popularity, which undoubtedly, because of what he's now going through, will increase. In contrast to that, you write, Imran is clearly drifting toward being more of Egypt's Mohammed Morsi. Now, Morsi undoubtedly was very popular, but he met with a very sad end. Is that the sort of future you possibly see for Imran Khan? A popularity like Morsi, but an end like Morsi as well?
Well, let's face it. Uh, what are the choices before, the army chief? I mean, I'm looking at it purely from an organizational perspective. Uh, if he's going to give in to Imran Khan, and I mean, I personally feel the best option would be hold elections. If he comes, let him come. But this is not a relationship which is going to be smooth and even healthy. Uh, it's going to be a raucous relationship. I don't see it going anywhere that way. But if the army chief was to put his foot down and say, no, there's no way I'm going to kind of let him take the system with him and run away with it, then I think I can see more violence. Uh, I see him under threat, Imran Khan personally under threat, and in many ways. I mean, court cases, starting from court cases to actually physical threat to his life. There could be many scenarios which one can play up. But this is really the battle. I don't think that the army chief right now intends to let him come. How will he do that is the big question.
Well, let me ask you about that, how? Because the great danger of which the army chief and the senior generals would be only too aware is that if Imran sweeps the elections and gets the two-thirds majority that many people think he's likely to get, the army will thereafter be entirely under his control. The relationship between the civilian government and the army will be the reverse of what it is widely believed to be today. And clearly, that's not something the army wants. So, what are the possibilities or prospects that, despite his own disinclination, and we all know that General Munir does not want to take over, circumstances might force him to do so, simply to protect the standing and position of the army and to ensure that an Imran Khan two-thirds victory, which threatens the army, doesn't happen?
See, right now the problem is that uh, General Asim Munir is adamant not to have Imran in any form. And that, I think, is also one of the problems. You see, just like Nawaz Sharif knew exactly that he wanted no other general but this one, Asim Munir, because he was confident that he was not going to support Imran Khan. Imran Khan is also confident that this one particular general will not have me. And therefore, you have this tension.
Can I interrupt at that point? Given the way you're setting it out, the only answer would be for General Munir to say, I'm going to step in for a while.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either. I think, that way. That possibility is somewhere in the margins, and one is not ruling it out as well. But I think they would try to negotiate. And I don't see at the moment that Asim Munir changes his mind and says, all right, let's hold election, let this man come and see what he delivers. But because honestly, give Imran Khan 6 months to a year, he will not be able to deliver. This man wasn't delivering before a vote of no confidence happened, before General Bajwa intervened and pushed
But
the.
can I interrupt, Dr. Siddiqa? The
Yeah.
army chief would only think that the solution is give Imran 6 months, the guy can't deliver, he'll implode under the pressure of running the country, and we'll have seen him off. He'll only think along those lines if he's actually prepared to let Imran come in for 6 months. At the moment, Asim Munir is committed, A, not to letting Imran come in any shape and form, and secondly, he's personally committed, or so it seems at the moment, that the army also won't take over. In which case, there is a third solution, and it's one that Imran constantly hints at. In fact, he's gone stronger, he's not just hinting. Is there a danger that Imran will be taken out, bumped off? He's talked about it often enough. Is there a real credible danger that that will be the solution?
Well, the threat is there. I mean, 2 months ago, when we talked about Pakistan and Imran Khan, that thought never occurred. At least it never occurred to me that something could happen to him. Um, you know, he's from Punjab. He is, army's sweetheart, and therefore nothing will happen. I mean, today the risk is much higher. What if in this scuffle something happens? What if they decide that they have to let him go? uh, that decision, somebody, it depends on who's making that decision. I mean, after all, we've seen that Benazir Bhutto was everybody's favorite. She was at the top. She was a popular leader, and then she was taken out, and we still live on. We Pakistan lives on so many years. Of course, we are half the size, politically, emotionally, than what we were when Benazir was alive. So there would be losses, but yes, that threat is very much there. I wouldn't count it out.
You know, audiences in India listening to this conversation with us will say to themselves, and I want to ask you if they're correct to do so, that they look as if there are three possible outcomes at this moment. And those outcomes are determined by the adamant defiance that Imran has put up, defiance and a challenge of the sort Pakistan has never seen. Those outcomes are that somehow the army agrees, Shehbaz agrees, elections are held, and Imran sweeps the polls, and they are free and fair. Or General Munir is pushed and has to step in because it's the only way of containing the situation, and you have a brief period of army rule. But as you know, army rule is never brief when it starts. They always promise it'll be brief, but it becomes 10 years. Or the third, which we've hinted at, is that they take out Imran Khan. It's the only way of sorting out the problem, in quotations, get rid of the problem by taking him up. Those seem to be the three possible prospects on the horizon, and neither of those are good outcomes for our neighbor, are they?
No, certainly not. I mean, unless that party leadership of PTI, his legal team, come together, sit with the political government and sort out, maybe find a solution. Right now, I don't think Imran Khan is inclined towards conversation. Now, a lot depends on what he does when he goes, presents himself to the court on 18th, which is tomorrow.
If he presents himself in court, he's ducked it 4 times.
Yes, that is the case. You see, what I find very unfortunate is that both the current government and Imran Khan and his party, all these political players have in their own spaces and in their own positions really pushed the army into a corner. Now, for army, the choice really is either to become more like a Myanmar army and really overexpose themselves uh, by directly taking control, by pushing people, by torturing people. I mean, make it more public than what it is today. Let's not forget that The agencies that go out today, fighting Imran Khan are the police, the FIA. So these are paramilitary or army, not the military itself. But overexposure is something which Pakistan army's terrified of. It brings it a bad name. Will it take that chance? That's the question. The other is that all these political players have, in one way or the other, pushed the army, and but they have little capacity. I would say zero capacity to capitalize on it and say, all right, now that I am in power, say Imran Khan says, I've come into power because of elections. Now, instead of going after people, after individuals, let me bring about an institutional system to balance
But do
civil.
you really believe, even for a moment, that will be
No,
his response if he wins a two-third majority?
no,
The first
no.
thing he'll do is get rid of General Asim Munir.
Probably. I think
Which
that
is why,
that's a sad.
let me raise this problem with you. Armies, particularly the Pakistan army, that is in fact the power behind the throne, does not like being pushed into a corner. They don't like being left with two options, each of which is worse than the other. And there's something you said that once again brings back to my mind the fear that the answer may be eliminate Imran. You said earlier that if Imran were to be removed, there's no one else in his party who can lead that party the way he has. Its power and its popularity would diminish very considerably if Imran were removed. Doesn't that once again bring back into play the possibility that getting rid of Imran may be the easiest way of cutting this Gordian knot for the army as well as for Shehbaz Sharif? That's the danger. Clearly, Imran is so worried about himself.
Or using the court, using the judicial system to disqualify him, do something which makes it impossible for him to contest elections. So it's a what I call a -1 formula. Now, if they're going to, yeah, if they use the -1 formula, he may get votes, but then he's not in a position. Shah Mahmood Qureshi has already said he's now two things that Imran has done. One, there is Shah Mahmood Qureshi who has stepped in and said that if Imran Khan is disqualified or something happens, he will step in. The other is he's made a small committee of people, which are apparently not the old timers, but new people like Murad Saeed and others to kind of run the day-to-day affairs of the party. So he's looking at options as well. But I would argue that if you take him out, either politically, through judicial means or physically, then PTI becomes very lost.
Very quickly, a question about taking him out judicially. And this is a question that's often asked in India. Of all the cases he faces, Imran apparently has now said he has 85 FIRs, so I presume that means 85 cases. Which is the most likely, in your opinion, to land Imran Khan in jail? Could it really be the Tosha Khana case, which to us in India seems more like a petty offense than a major criminal act? Or is it more likely to be threats that he's issued against a magistrate? Or is it the fact that he's lied about his daughter from Sita White, and therefore, like Nawaz Sharif, he cannot be deemed to be either Sadiq and Amin?
See, in the Sadiq and Amin case, right, Article 63, you can disqualify him. You don't put him in jail. And all these cases are such in which he cannot, he can't really land in jail, not land in jail for a longer period. That in the Tosha Khana case, the only problem remains. It's not that he's sold the gift. The problem really is that he didn't declare that wealth in his affidavit. He hasn't to the election commission. So you can make one excuse or the other to put him behind bars, but you can definitely make a lot of cases to disqualify him. And if you disqualify him, then that's another layer of chaos and anarchy. People will still vote, elections will still happen, but
And he can still campaign. He may not be able to contest, but he can campaign. And presumably, Imran campaigning for his party can still deliver a huge majority, because he can then say, once he's in power, they'll change the laws and change the disqualification.
yes, but it's going to be more chaotic. So,
But the bottom line is they have to send him to jail if they want to eliminate him, in quotations, judicially. Jail is the essential step, not just disqualification.
that's one of the possibilities. I mean, I am trying to hold myself and say, imagine actually that, nothing, no physical harm will come to him.
So we hope. So we
Yeah,
hope.
so we hope, really, because we have lost leaders, political leaders, from different parties, and I think that, especially the People's Party more than any other
And
party.
Pakistan does not want to go down that road again, although perhaps to some that looks like a very inviting road at the moment, because it may be the shortest cut to the destination, getting rid of Imran. But very quickly, literally as my last question, this huge political turmoil has overshadowed everything in Pakistan. What is the impact on governance? What is the impact on your economy, which is already in dire straits? I take it there is no time for any of that. The government, the Shehbaz Sharif government, is concentrating almost entirely on its Imran Khan problem.
Entirely. I mean, there's no governance happening, but sadly, the part is the problem also is that the government is also using this excuse of sorting out, of attending to Imran Khan, for not providing governance wherever it's lacking. So it's a good excuse, as well as, yes, it's also a reality that governance is an issue. There's also a lack of resources. There's political instability, which is not only rocking Pakistan at the moment, but it has implication for government's ability to negotiate with the IMF, to get its head together. I mean, I was talking to business people in Lahore, and they were saying that now, these days, the problem is that service industry is getting affected because roads are shut down, schools are shut down. There is uncertainty in the entire city. So, which has a ripple effect. So,
Absolutely.
this instability is very sickening, to say the least.
Dr. Siddiqa, I thank you for this interview. And in particular, I thank you for opening the eyes of my countrymen to the rather dreadful prospects that seem to lie on the horizon. A possible army takeover as the way of sorting out the problem, the elimination of Imran Khan, and let's hope it doesn't come to that, but to some that might look like the most inviting solution, or an election which he sweeps and then is in total confrontation with the army chief and the army as an institution, because he will be the popular hero of the country. It seems, whatever the outcome, the uncertainty and worse, the turmoil in Pakistan is likely to get a lot worse before it gets any better. Thank you very much for joining me.
I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.